Connectors, and today we're presenting AthleticSOS, and you'll see in a few minutes what that is. But my name is Denise Meredith. I'm the CEO of the World's Best Connectors. And one, I'd like to start out with some of the ground rules, which is putting your information into the chat. Your name and your email are great. And then if you have questions, to put those into the Q&A slot here on Zoom if you can. And we hope we'll have some, we usually have questions on this particular issue. So we'll hopefully have those questions and get to those before we leave here today. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming in, and we have a few people still popping in. So I may extend my introduction a little bit until these people get on. But essentially, I talk a little bit about, myself. Most people know me in Arizona, but anyway, I've been here 30 years now, which is pretty unbelievable. But again, my name is Denise Meredith. I'm the CEO of Denise Meredith Consultants, which is now about 26 years old, I think, my company. And it's a business consulting company, mainly public relations. And in 2019, it's hard to believe, our 7th year, World's Best Connectors, which is a group of C-suite executives who I joke and say, got together and get into good trouble together. But what we do is we have people of all different industries, all different mindsets, all different personalities, and we work on projects together. The hot one, and I think we were a little bit ahead of it. Now everybody's caught up to it. Now it's a really hot issue. Is business education for student athletes and their parents. So we're working on that, and we'll get to that in a sec. But anyway, I would like to encourage people to go to our website, www.thewbcs.com, and take a look at what the things we're doing. And we're going to be putting up a lot more information next week, because we're working now on some events related to the Final Four for women's basketball. That's going to be here in Phoenix. It's quite a treat for Phoenix to be selected for that. That's going to be the first week in April. And also we'll be having a few events during the World Cup. So the World Cup is, we're what they call a watch city, and we'll be doing that in June. And so just keep your eyes open. Please stay tuned to our social media and join us in these adventures that we're going to have. Next slide. Well, just a bit about the agenda that we're going to go through today. I'm in the middle of the welcome introduction right now, and we're going to have a live demo, which those are always fun. And I'm really excited for you to meet Charles. He does a great job at this, but it's one of the more exciting programs I've seen. People know me. I like new things that are simple but work. and this is one. It has universal application. That's what I like. I always like to say I would rather have the license for a nut than a license for a car, because nuts are used in a lot of different machines in a lot of different places. So what we'll have here with AthleticSOS, you're going to see it has, obviously from the title, a unique type of audience, but it can be used for just about any audience. And we're going to talk about why you want it. And I think after you're seeing it, you're going to want it, and why I think you need it, which is even more important. So we're doing a lot of work and research, obviously, and a lot of the obstacles that are facing students and their parents. It's pretty much more complicated this time than it was when I was going to school. As I always joke, but it's true, when our teams had an away game, that meant maybe getting on the school bus and going 2 miles down to the next school. And now kids are getting on airplanes in high school to go play games. So it's a whole different world, a lot going on. We'll talk a little bit about that. How do you get this program? I'll definitely talk about that. Hopefully you'll be ordering it, not just for you, but for your friends, relatives, get them on board, and for organizations, universities, sporting goods stores, anyone, you're going to see the universal application of this. And then finally, there's more. If we have some time at the end, we'll talk about some of the other projects that we have going on. So with that, we're going to move on to our, we have two guests actually. They're going to be involved in this demo. AthleticSOS. And what it is a AI program. And I was just at a meeting yesterday where people go, AI. Yes, AI has some problems and some challenges. And yes, it will displace many jobs. But there's always also a lot of positive things that AI can do. And that's what we're looking at here. And that's what we emphasize in World's Best Connectors. There's a lot of positive things that AI is going to help us out with. And I'm just real excited to have met Charles last year. Mike Adams, who was a newer member of our group, introduced us. And I'm going to have him introduce himself.
All right, thank you very much, and appreciate everyone taking the afternoon off to take a look at this. I'm going to kind of move through it, and I've done this quite a few times, so hopefully I'll cover everything you need, but I'm more than willing to answer any questions. So I'm going to start showing my screen right now as I give you a little background on myself. I am I spent 35 years in the systems area with the city of LA, various departments. And my job back there was to create enterprise level software. It wasn't until probably the last 15 years of my career that we really concentrated on the public being able to interact with the city pieces. So what you're going to see here is not an app. It is a full enterprise level application. And this all came because I had a daughter that could play basketball pretty good in her freshman, sophomore year. And I asked everybody around, how do I get her an athletic scholarship? And no one could answer it. And we were fortunate that her high school coach was a former junior college coach. And so we got her through. And then a lot of her friends, we got almost everybody that she played travel club with. And it wasn't a high level club. We got them all athletic scholarships using this system. And then around 2013, when cloud computing came around, I started developing what you'll see today. And then it's just expanded from there. There is no way to get to AthleticSOS unless you came through one of our partners. And I'll explain that a little bit as we move along. And so what I want to do now is I want to show you how it came to be, because put your parent hat on is basically what I want you guys to do right now. You're a parent, you have a kid, they feel like they could play at the next level. You're not 100% sure, but you're there. And so we're going to start with that first. So the parents will come in, and you can see I'm on the admin portal right now. I'm going to go to the parents portal. The parent will get a code through WBC, and with that, you're going to be able to come in and they're going to register. And I'll show you where that happens. And once they do, they're going to come to this screen. It's going to have their name. You can see this is my name for this one for the demo purposes. And then up here where it says my athletes, if you had one student athlete, you would see their name. But I happen to have two here, right? So it's a drop down list. And I'm going to choose Charles. Later on, we're going to use Carlos and one of his kids. He's going to give us some information, and I'm going to do a demo for them. I want to do the demo now for this particular athlete because I want to show you all the features that come along with it. So during the registration process, the parent, and this is really important for us, the parent will put all of their own child's information in. And you can see over here on the left-hand side, this is information that can all be edited during their school year, right? They're going to get a little bit bigger, they're going to get a little bit stronger, they're going to, things are going to change, their GPA may change. We have the NCAA, the NAIA Eligibility Center IDs, any photos, their SAT and ACT test scores. All of these things could be fluid based on what they're trying to accomplish. So I just wanted to show that. Over here on the right-hand side, these are all optional, right? Any social media contacts they have, they can put that in here. Any files or video. When we say files, and you can tell that it's been around for a while, files are maybe you had an interview somewhere, maybe there's a newspaper clipping you want to add in here, you can put that in. But maybe you have some videos on one of the video sharing sites, or you have a video or a link you want to put in there, you can add that. And then all the sports that athlete plays. Now, most people aren't playing basketball, diving, football, and baseball, but I just kind of wanted to show you. So you can add all that in, and there are going to be notes here. And all this is you building a profile for yourself to send to a college coach once you've started finding some schools that match you. And then here, upcoming events, maybe you have a basketball tournament, maybe you have your game. You can put anything in here you want so they can add any events. But here's the heart and soul of our software. They would come here and they would say, let's start looking for schools. Let's add schools. They just click that button and we start with their academic information. So I gave this student athlete a 3.6 GPA, and these are their ACT and SAT scores. And one of the things I like to do is showcase that this GPA and these ACT scores, our software picked up right away that they don't match up. And this is based on federal guidelines, because all of the colleges that get any kind of money for scholarships and things like that to come to the school, or loans for student loans, they have to give the government. And because I work for the government, I know where these databases are. So anyway, so this kid should have a 24 across the board here. So this is just letting this student athlete and their family know you might want to go back and take this again if this is important to you. But their SAT scores are fine. Now, we found most families don't take both. We recommend you take both. They're different tests. So it's just something I like to showcase. And then you can edit these as they move through. Their GPA may go up or down, their ACT, SAT scores. So all of these can be edited. And then they hit next. And then what we have in our database, we have every single sport. There's an opportunity to get an athletic scholarship. You even see things like cheerleading and bowling. Esports is really big. Equestrian. We have everything in here. So as we go down the row, and it's funny that most families don't even think about these other sports as being opportunities for them to get scholarships. They know baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, the basic ones. I'm going to choose basketball because it gives us an opportunity to see the full width of the software. Then they can pick a region. So if we put a map over here, but they can pick from the West and Midwest, Northeast, and the South, or they can pick up to 5 states. Maybe there's certain states they want to stay in. Maybe they have family somewhere. Maybe they want to leave town. Maybe they want to stay close. To us, it doesn't matter. They get to have full control over this. And then we have every single level they can possibly participate in. So NCAA's Division 1, 2, and 3. Even though we know NCAA Division 3 doesn't give athletic scholarships per se, they do give you money to go there. We have the NAIA and even the junior colleges that offer athletic scholarship opportunity, room, board, books, things like that. So I'm going to pick a D2 because most people will never search D2. Every time I do this with kids, first thing they do is search D1. And then we're going to hit search. So I know it's a male. I know he plays basketball. I know we're looking in the Midwest, and I have his academic information. So just that quickly, here's a list of schools that this student athlete academically is qualified to attend that have men basketball at the Division II level. And so he does not see any schools that he doesn't academically qualify for. So a lot of times we get the student athletes, well, I don't see USC, I don't see Notre Dame, I don't see Stanford, whatever they're looking for. And then we look at their academic information and go, well, here's why. And then you can see there's 62 entries, but remember, we only look in one area and we only using this kid's academic information. And so over here, it's all in alphabetical order. You can sort on any of these fields. And then we did put this football or without football. Some kids want to go to a smaller school. Some kids, it doesn't matter to them. And then you can sort on by the state also. So these are all schools because they're all in the Midwest. And then and we have this here, this basketball, because sometimes people forget they may play multiple sports. We want to make sure that we know what they're looking at. And then over here is where we set ourselves apart. This is called decision assist. So we color coded this. And right now you see green and yellow and white. I'm going to go to the next page real quick. Oh, there's some blue. Good, perfect. And so if you see blue, it means academically you're in the top 25 percentile of the students that were accepted into that college the previous year. It has nothing to do with your basketball capabilities, just as an academic situation. That's where you would qualify. You can get into this school and you're in pretty good shape. If you see green, you're in that middle, that 50 to 75 percentile. If you see yellow, you're in the bottom 25 percentile. But as an athlete, you may still have a great opportunity to get in that school. And it's white and clear. That means that school doesn't use the SAT and ACT as a criteria for acceptance. So for parents, this is gold. This is almost, yeah, my kid thinks they can play at the next level. I'm not sure. But at least I know if I'm going to put these applications in, that I know the kid can get into the school. And people don't think about this normally. They just get the rejection letters, and for various reasons. It may not be because you don't qualify. There could be some other reasons for that, but it's great to know where you qualify. And so in this case, what I would be doing as a parent is either sorting and bringing all the blues to the top, or I'd scroll through here and I'd say, oh, look at this Lake Erie College. I never even heard of it. Let's click here. And so details is where we really start to get to work. So on this one, I'm going to tell you if it's a public or private school. I'm going to tell you how many applications they got the previous year, how many did they accept, what the application fee. Look at this. This one's zero. What the in-state or out-of-state tuition, if it's a public or private school, sometimes this can be a big difference. Your board fee, so you have an idea what this is going to cost to attend. Then down here, let's say you are green or you are yellow. What score do I need to move up to a blue so that maybe I can get some academic money on top of my athletic money? So all of these things are going on as a family. So information is key for you. What you're trying to find out, what are all of your options and opportunities, and how are you going to evaluate them? Down here, we have the head coach contact information. Now, we usually tell the parents and the student athlete, only use this for yourself if you have to. You have a high school coach, you have a travel club coach. Maybe you have someone else can make that initial call, and I'll show you how that will work on their behalf too. And then I don't know anything else about this school. So down here, we have a link to the school URL. The colleges are doing a fantastic job now of walking you through their campus. Does it have the right feel? Is it urban? Is it suburban? Is it, what kind of environment is it? Does it fit me? And this will be one of the first times a lot of our young kids start thinking about, who am I? Where do I want to go? And this is a great tool for that. And to hold those conversations, a lot of times when we find, we'll go to schools and we'll be doing this, and we'll see the student athlete search when their parent is sitting next to them. And then when that parent goes off to do something else, their search completely changes. So sometimes we don't even know who our teenagers are. And the next one, this would take you to the athletic homepage. We added this a few years ago because of the pandemic situation. And then also it's a great tool to see if these schools are putting their money where their mouth is. How robust is their athletic site? Are they talking about the field hockey, and are they really taking care of their athletes? You can kind of tell from that page. And then this is the final one. This would take you to the sport homepage. So this would take you to the men's basketball page. And you can look at the roster. What kind of kids are they bringing in? Are they all American, all state, all league? What size? Who's coming out this year? Are there a lot of freshmen they just brought in my position? Do they have to? Do they look overloaded at that position? And do I fit the school? If I like it, I save it and I move on. And so you can do this all day. No one's blocking you. No one's telling you what level they think you are. You can play around with this all day. But one of the things that we know is that 95% of the kids that are playing high school sports probably won't play at the next level. But we don't kill that dream. But what we are saying, and this is what's going to be unique for what you guys get working with WBC, this version, you're going to get this academic only button. This doesn't come automatically. So this comes with them. If you check that box, you notice the sports just went out of it. And so now I'm going to stay on the West Coast. I'm out on the West Coast right now. And I'm going to hit search again. So I still have the same information. I have the academic information, and it's going to take a few seconds longer here. And that's because we're giving you 2-year schools, 4-year colleges and universities, and federally accredited trade schools. And so our goal there was, when we were working with the high school institutions, we don't want to leave anybody behind. Everyone that uses this software and finds something to do when they walk out of that gate from the high school for the last time. Now, the only caveat that I always give here is that I only have colleges and universities that have athletic departments, and it's the large majority of them. So it's really not a holding back sort of situation, but there are other tools that most of the time the schools have. So that's kind of the software from the parent's point of view. A couple of things I like to show under resources. We don't like excuses here. So we have links to the eligibility centers. We work with organizations overseas. So here's the international NCAA, NAIA. Most parents don't even know that NAIA has an eligibility center, and they also don't know that you have to be in these eligibility centers before a coach will take you seriously, because you cannot be offered an athletic scholarship without being in here, because your high school is going to send your transcripts, and they want to make sure those are the integrity is held there. And then we have links to the SAT and ACT in case you need to take the test again. No excuse. The counselor didn't tell me, or somebody didn't let me know, the coach. There should be no excuses. And then everything I just showed you, and this is what I made my name on with the city. I always do videos. So I'm going to walk you through how to navigate the portal, understanding those red flags that we try to talk about. Maybe your academics is not right. How to use the search wizard correctly. All of the things that you need are here. And so once you start working with it, you really shouldn't need any other help, but you can always contact us if you need it. Now, I just showed you the parent part. They're over there. They're having a great time. But I want to show, because I know there's a mixed group of people that are on this call. We have another section called the coach portal. And really, it's the organization portal. Now, in this case with WBC, they will not be helping you necessarily get the athletic scholarship. That's not their expertise. And maybe later, when we've had these discussions, they'll bring that on. But imagine that you had a travel club program, or you're a high school or something like that. Well, you come in and we would set all your coaches up. We have principals, we have the counselors, we have the athletic director, we have all the coaches from tons of schools that use our software, and they would come in because when we give you that code is tied to an organization. So their coaches can now see the surges that you're making. So let's say you were an organization and you say, hey, here's Charles and here's Marie. And I noticed Charles, I'm a counselor at this school. And I noticed that Charles has an academic school. I don't know too much about basketball, but I'm going to take a look and see what he's trying to do here. And I don't know if I showed you guys earlier, but I had already loaded an academic only school. And so I could bring Charles in right now. I haven't seen Charles in 2 years. He never comes to the office. But now we have a conversation we can have with him. And then secondly, if I'm the basketball coach and I told Charles, E2 or below, I got your back. I'll look out for you. I can click this, and now I can make this initial call on Charles's behalf. And this is the power of working with someone, partnering, but not being stuck on the other side. So as a parent, if you don't have anyone helping you, that's fine too. You can move forward on your own. But if you do have someone helping, they can see what you're doing. So this is really powerful. And at this point, the other thing that we've been doing for the organization is now I'm a coach. Say I'm the basketball coach at this high school. I've got a family that's done the research already. I didn't have to do the research for them. And I'm going to make this call to Coach Connolly, and I'm going to say, hey, listen, I've got this family. I've got this kid. Academically, they qualify to attend. In fact, they're in the top 25 percentile, so they can get into school. Great student, great player, definitely can play at the D2 level. I'd like to send you their profile information. So this coach can send a profile from their side, and you can also do it from the parent side. So both of you guys are covered. And here's what I just did also is that now that high school coach, who may be on the other side of the country, has a contact with a college coach, and that college coach may be a D2, D3, they can't fly all over the place. They have a contact somewhere, and maybe they don't need a point guard or a forward this year. They need something else. They can work that out. But now this coach can tell that parent, hey, take that one off your list and go ahead and add another school. And so this is what we were trying to do. We're trying to get a win for everyone involved so it feels productive to everyone. And then the final piece is they still have their own resources here, right? They can make sure all of the kids and everybody knows, what's coming up next. And then they have their own media background. It's a little shorter than the one for the parents, but everything that they need here, how to add new coaches, how to take someone out, things like that. So everything is here for this side. Now there's a ton more to go. I want to show you guys one more thing while I'm in here though. Is Carlos on? Carlos is on.
Yeah, they told me he was there.
Okay, well, you guys have seen. I was going to try to run one of his kids if we had some information for them. But one of the other things I wanted to show you was what does it look like for the profile for that kid? Let me see if I can find one for. Let me do Marie, bro. And so if you come down here, you can see what that profile would look like when it gets sent off to that college coach. So, and you can remove anything you want. And this happens to be my daughter. So this is how I got into this world. So I have her up here, and you can see she's bossy, how she's standing there. But and so this is everything. These are those videos. I didn't have social media for her here, but a lot of information about her, and this is just test information. And so you would send this out to that coach, and this is what they would receive, and then they can tell if it makes sense for them. So I kind of wanted to show that so you can see. So the parents can send it on their own behalf because they're not getting any help. But we always recommend you work with someone else if you can. And if you only had the parent side, you can also just go in, take your laptop or your phone, and show the high school coach or whoever you have, hey, these are the schools I found. Can you reach out for me? And they'll do it that way too, in case their school is not a part of using AthleticSOS. So the goal here was you're never stuck. The goal here is also that you have all of your options and opportunities, and now you're working from a different aspect. Instead of going to that showcase or that viewing tournament or the combine and hoping to get discovered, you're going to reach out to these coaches, say, hey, I'm interested in you. Here's my information, and here's where I'm going to be. And now it changes everything. When you go to those events, those coaches are sitting, they're going to follow you. You get a chance to not play so well in one game or one thing. They're going to keep coming because they've seen film. You've already been vouched for, and they know you're interested in them. That's what they're looking for. You're academically qualified. You want to play for them, and somebody has vetted you. So these are the things that change the game. So what makes us different than everybody else out here? The NFHS has their own thing. You have just a lot of different groups that are kind of doing the same thing. We work. Almost everyone else comes in and says, hey, put your name in our database, and then we're going to reach it. We're going to let the college coaches come in here and review you. We did it the other way because what ends up happening that way is it's beneficial for the company, it's beneficial for the college coach, but you're now competing with everyone else in that database. Yeah, I came to see you, but right above you is the kid a little taller, a little faster, a little bit better GPA. We wanted you to be marketing one-on-one, just you. And so that is our main difference, how we approach it. And most other organizations, if they're going to do a search like this, and there's very few people that know where these databases are, so this is very difficult to do, the search that we did. They're going to do the searches for you and tell you which schools you should be, fit you, because they're going to look for all the blues, but that may not be what you're looking for. So we want you to find a school that fits who you are and what you're trying to do. Okay, I'm going to stop because I'll go down a rabbit hole. There's a bunch of other features in here. I don't want to go too long on that. That you'll see once you decide you want to move in this path, and I'll show you those. And we're adding some cool stuff that is we really think 2026 is going to be our year. So with that, if anyone has any questions or they want me to go back over something, I'm more than willing to.
Hey, I have a question. Great, first off, great presentation, Charles.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, for sure. Of course, man, you're welcome. So quick question. So for schools who don't have athletic programs or just different students who are trying to plug people in and, creating something within that lane, do those kids, because I like that the profile, I think that was cool, the athletic profile with the picture. Is there, are the regular students able to do that too? Like maybe put a headshot or a business professional headshot or a drama headshot if they're in the drama looking for drama scholarships. Maybe kind of, is that a possible thing or,
Yeah, we don't. So I get the band, the drama. Everyone is contacting me on this. My big problem there is getting the databases for it. I know where these databases are, but yes, anyone on the campus can use it because remember we took that. We know a lot of the student athletes aren't even going to play at the next level. So that profile,
Oh yeah,
really, if you
true.
think about it, they could send that same profile. It just would not have the sports, and you can turn all these. Let me go back. I will show you real quick because that's a great question. So I could turn off a lot of these things like social media and this and send those
Okay.
out. Now it's just got the photo. And I even take
Oh,
this off.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So you really do control how that profile looks going out. And I'm not selling this as that, but you're right. You could use it for a variety of things. And we are looking at the kids that aren't going to play at the next
Mhm.
level also. So yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well, one more question too to follow up. Thank you. And follow up. So the picture option, you said you can modify it. So for example, your daughter, so let's say she didn't want to, or well, she obviously played sports, she was good. But like let's say somebody who didn't, they were like college sports isn't an option. Would I be
Yeah,
able
they
to
would.
sub
Yeah,
the
so they
sports
can edit
picture
that
out?
right here. Yeah, this is just a link to a
Okay.
photo that's out
Oh
there, so
yeah,
you can
perfect.
just
Cool,
change.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's absolutely there.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah. Okay,
and
yeah.
and I'm glad you said that because the other thing I wanted to mention was we don't store any financial information from anyone, and the parent put their own child's information here, but we don't really have anywhere for you to contact the child directly. The parent is the key person. They're going to put their username, their email. They're going to create the password. Now, almost everyone that uses this, they give it to their kid after a while. The local schools here, we went up there to do something, and they're showing it on their phone, and their friends like, what is that? What do you got there? How come we don't have it on the swim team or the softball team? Because the basketball and football teams all take it. But so these are the kind of things that you want to think about. You want to get them excited about. Hey, I got opportunities here. I thought I had messed up on my grades and stuff. And the last thing I wanted to say about this is things have just changed in the last 2025 was the biggest turn ever. You can start anywhere. If you go to JC, they're changing the rules now where those 2 years don't even count against your
Yeah.
4 year thing. So you might maybe better to go to JC, get those basic general education out, and go play somewhere else. And now you've got 4 years. You might be able to get your get the advanced degree out of it. And then the other thing is the ability, if you do choose a lower level and you're really good and you didn't get chosen somewhere else, go there first and you can transfer. So there's no penalty to that now. So the way things change, it really is in the family and the student athletes. They are the lead for this thing now. So things have changed quite a bit.
For us sharing, and I know you have Charles, the portal for parents as well as the coaches. For those of us that are here or looking for the other individuals, should we be focusing more on the parents or should we be focusing more on the coaches? What is the avenue we should look more for as laymen to make sure the information gets out? Or is there a percentage that hits better or worse? Or how can we better market this for you to them?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I would look at here. If there's people that you know in your world, maybe that have individual kids, you can go to them first. And even if it's a coach or athletic director at a high school or something, say, you know what, let's take a look at this yourself. But you can bring it into your organization too. If you have contacts though, where you can get in to high schools and things like that. I will tell you this: every high school I've got into, someone brought me in. So it wasn't I could walk in and go to the front office and talk to someone or just call them up, because they've got a lot going on. And the thing that I really want you guys, if you do go for after organizations or institutions, I have a lot of nonprofits. What you want to do is tell them this is enterprise level. So there's security features there. It's not just a general app, and you can give or take as you please. You don't have to go and give it to everyone. I think one of the biggest things for the high schools we had to get to with the coaches is you're not going to be doing extra work. That was the number one issue for them. And there's a little bit of especially for the better athletes at a high school or something like that, especially travel club too. Those parents are in a mode where they need something to happen now. Things change so quickly. You got 1 year, maybe 2 at the most, to make your impact, get selected, and move on with your life. So their sense of anxiety is what can ruin the whole sport for the kid. So if you can say, hey, this is going to tamper all of that down for the organization, we just gave you a great tool. Go do your job and we'll help you. But we're not going to do it for you, but we're here to support you. And for the parents, all of a sudden, they got something in their back pocket. In case they don't make, they don't, they go to travel club and you watch. If you've ever been to an event where you paid money, you've traveled across the country, and your kid's playing and all the coaches get up and move, that is the most frustrating thing you've ever seen in your life. But now we've already reached out. This coach is actually going to move with you. Those other kids are going to be frustrated coming behind you, because where are they going? Because they're following you from gym to gym to gym. They're trying to make sure, and I'm saying gym, but it could be on the field or whatever. This is the difference maker, is that someone knows you want them. And you're going to do your normal stuff too. So you're not bucking the trend. And one of the other things that we found that's really huge here is that most of the better athletes, when they're playing their high school, they're not playing their position they would play at the collegiate level, because they're the best athlete there. I got to use you over here. But now that coach can make that explanation when they call on your behalf and say, listen, this kid has really come through for us. They really should be a defensive back, but I got to put them on the line, or whatever's going on. That explanation can change everything for you as that athlete. Because when you're sending your highlight videos, you're showing yourself as a wide receiver. They're using it as something else. It's like, well, I'm confused here. But now all that goes away. So these are all the things that come along with something like this software.
So we're going to be hearing a lot more about this because, well, in fact, right here, we're going to talk about the benefits really quickly, summarize the benefits of this program. One, short term, and I don't say things are obvious anymore because lots of times people don't see things in an obvious way, but the amount of time it's going to spend you on research. And to me, even more so than that, people don't even know how to do research, where to start doing research. And then there's some information that's really hard to get that Charles has in his program that, you can maybe search the internet. People talk about the internet. You have to, or even chat, you have to have the right prompts in there. And even chat doesn't have all the information that there is. So it has a lot of hard to get information, especially when it comes down to the specific topics that school, has specialties in. You save money. I hear you have to pay for applications in a lot of cases these days, or you have to pay for someone to look for applications. So that's something that you can save a lot of money with just this program. Realistic goals, and of course, Charles has mentioned this. You may have had Harvard on your mind, but when you put everything in there, maybe that's not the place for you. So but as he mentioned, there may be another school that you hadn't even thought about that does fit all your criteria. So that way it's important. Strengths and weaknesses of the person themselves. As Charles pointed out, it tells you have those schools in yellow that maybe if you do something differently, maybe if you do a little bit more in this area, a little bit more in that area, that you will qualify for more schools that are in that yellow band. So it helps you, and to me early on, identify strengths and weaknesses. Because one thing I want to mention to people is this, while obviously it's sort of focused on high schools because those are the ones that are looking for college right now, it can be pretty helpful sooner than that even, because we're talking about sports. They're recruiting people in high school now, when 3 years ago, when I started working on this, it was more college. Now they're going down to high schools. Who knows where they'll be next? Kids start in gymnastics at 4 years old. So, to me, it's never almost too early to start thinking about some of these things. And finally, it reduces stress and aggravation. You see how quickly he was able to get his results on that. If you can imagine trying to do that kind of work yourself, whether you have internet or chat or whatever, makes a big difference. The long-term benefits, obviously, what WBC is working on, we're not in competition with colleges. Colleges have their mission. Colleges have what they want to do. Colleges are interested in what can happen in the 4 years while you're at the school. We're focusing on what happens after that. That's where we're coming from. How are you prepared, even back to junior high school, to have a healthy career after college? Even if and I've dealt with college, I've dealt with professional athletes a lot, and some of them are like 23 and are out. They made their dream of going to the NFL, and the average career now in NFL is 3.5 years. So, we need to start, and this applies to the parents, and I'll talk about what we're going to do parents in a couple of minutes. But parents need to be thinking about it, because kids really don't. They're focused on their sport, enjoying that. But parents is something that they need to be aware of and be thinking of. So better alignment of goals and capabilities with your student is very important in the long term. You want a happy experience. That's what we're about. We want kids to be happy in sports, okay? And also to be happy if they don't go pro, okay? You can have a fantastic college career, okay? And that would be great. And you go on to become a doctor, okay? There are some, the Olympic athletes, you see a lot of that. You hear later that they're a veterinarian or a doctor or something, a lawyer, because there's not much of a future in Olympic sports. But what I say is, when I look at athletes, they have the stamina, they have the desire, they have the charisma in a lot of cases to be very successful in business. So part of what we're doing with WBC, our vision is to create 1,000 new businesses from student athletes and their parents. And this becomes a big part of that. Better prepared for these careers on and off the field. Again, kids don't even think about careers. And I tell you what, parents don't know much about careers these days because it's changing so rapidly. What we're going to be talking about with kids today, who knows, 3 years from now. Maybe same careers, or maybe very different careers 3 years from now, mainly as a result of automation and some of the things that are happening. And finally, and this is what caught my attention with what Charles is doing, and you may hear of other kind of programs and, other kind of searches, and I'm sure there are people waiting there to take your money to do searches for you. But what I like about his program, as he showed, it gets at both the academic and the sports related goals. So even if your student athlete does not want to be a pro football player or something like that, just wants to enjoy sports, this is perfect for them, okay? This is perfect because it shows you where you can have the sports, plus you can play the tuba, or you can be in sports and you can be in journalism. You can be in sports and you can do a lot of other things there, and this helps you do that. So I'm really excited about what Charles has done, and we're going to continue to help him do it. Next slide. Okay, bottom line, how do you get it? Okay, this all sounds really good. So we'll talk about the program itself. One, it's good for a year, annual subscription. It's good for up to 3 students, so which is good. People have more than one kid these days. And so you have 3 students, or I assume you can do it a couple of different times, one student if you want to, early on and then later or something like that. But anyway, there's 3 applications of it there. It's $325, and that includes the taxes and all that type of stuff per family. So if you have 3 kids, 2 kids, whatever, this is sort of perfect for you with the one-stop shopping, so to speak. And this is the link for it. Use this QR code, and I'm going to put it in the, at the end here, I'm going to put it in the chat so you can get that. Plus, people who, and I'm reminding people to put their email and their name in the chat now, because I'll be able to send you a copy of this entire presentation. Okay. So, but the QR code will take you to PayPal, where you can PayPal, you can pay for it all at once, or you can make payments. Okay. So PayPal, they'll, accommodate you any way you want to be accommodated. Next slide. Okay. Special offers, volume discounts. We have, as you can imagine, we've had interest from schools, organizations, and as we get this out, we're going to have a lot of interest. But we did go to an education conference recently, and the people who stopped by the booth are pretty excited about it. So we're going to be working with other organizations, and we hope that you, all the people that are online, can spread the word to others. But if you're a school, obviously you need a different setup. So we will work with you on how to use this tool in an effective way with your organization, pricing wise, and how you set it up and everything like that. So we're giving special attention to schools and organizations. Individual people, boom, get it and go. And that's what I like about it too. We have a special first 10 families that are watch this program or sign up with us. We're going to give it to them for $275. It's a pretty decent reduction. And with that, you go to PayPal, you sign up, you pay. I'll get back to you and hook you up with Charles, and he will get you set up and help you get started with that. So it's pretty exciting. But there's more, as they say, and commercials. But anyway, there are other things we're working on. It's going to be a really exciting year for us in WBC. I have a book that came out a few months ago called Wish I Had Known, Sports Parents Playbook. It's on Amazon, and you can look it up there. And it's in paperback and ebook. And it really sets the tone for a lot of this, because in this book, it's set for parents and parents of kids of any age, like I said. And it talks to them about things they may not have thought about. As I mentioned, times have changed. What parents had to think about 10 years ago is way different what parents have to think about today that have a student athlete. So we talk about one, and I call it the 3 R's, resumes, which is references, resources, and referrals. 3 R's I talk about. And it tells you that where you need to go to get more information, what kind of resources are out there, what you need to be looking for, et cetera, et cetera. So people say it's pretty handy. So we have it in paperback or ebook, and it's on Amazon. You can look it up there and get that. Okay, the mastermind. And mastermind is like a cliche thing. Everybody's talking about masterminds these days. So I use that terminology. But what it is a course. In the old days, it was a course, right, that we're having. This one happens to be an online course. It's 6 weeks. We're having a pilot course, which is just testing it out. And for that, it's gonna be structured a little differently than, of course, when we get it going for real. So the pilot course is gonna start next month, and it is 6 weeks, once a week. That will be on for like this, an hour, at most an hour and a half. We're going to talk about things like health issues in sports for athletes. And that's changed from what, believe it or not, we have new diseases. That sounds terrible, but anybody who hangs out with baseball, like baseball. Now you have these things that everybody gets. It used to be rare that they had these certain illnesses, but particularly pitchers. And now it's commonplace. They almost have to structure their career knowing that they're going to have this surgery sooner or later. So we'll talk about health issues. We'll talk about mental health, which up until a few years ago, nobody mentioned in sports. Luckily, Simone and some other famous athletes started to talk about it. And so now it's out there and you need to talk about it. We're going to be talking about family relationships, team building, who you have on your team. You're worried about getting your kid on a team. Well, you're going to have your own team too, as lawyers, health, sports doctor, et cetera, et cetera. We'll go through what you need, how you find those people. It's nice to say you need all of this, but where are they? How do you find reputable ones? Since the NIL thing is broken out, there are a lot of not so reputable people running around offering services. So we'll talk quite a bit about that. We'll talk about how to start a family business. And we'll talk about how you can support your child in the best way. Sports parents have a terrible reputation. I'm a media person, so I know what the media is looking for. They're looking for the dad that loses his mind and charges the third base coach or the NBA player's dad that runs down, from the stands. That's what media is looking for. Chaos, excitement, whatever. But I've spent years and years and years with youth sports, and I can say that the great percentage of sports parents are dedicated, normal people, really just interested in, their kids' well-being, hardworking people. And you really have to be a hardworking person now because of the expenses. And that's one thing I think most people would sign up for the program. We're going to spend a lot of time on finances, where the money is, how you can maybe get the money. I think people are counting too much on NIL. Very few people getting NIL. So they keep changing the rules. So now the schools have to pay all athletes. And that sounds promising to a certain extent. But guess who's going to get the money still? It's football. It's football, a little bit of basketball. Women on the low end of that totem pole, maybe a few basketball players, maybe a few volleyball players. And so financing becomes a big issue. And what if you're an Olympic athlete? Okay, where is the money coming from? Okay, so we're going to deal with financial issues, how to keep a budget, and really how to stay afloat. Because finances always leads to stress and having problems with finances. So we're going to try to do all that. So that's what the course is covering. We're going to have programs like Charles's program is a part of that. So everybody that's in that program will automatically get that program. If you buy the program that we're promoting, Charles's program now, if you also sign up later, a couple of weeks later for the program, for the Wish I Had Known program, we'll subtract that from you, from what you have to pay to be in the Wish I Had Known program. We're going to have a separate social media page, which should be really interesting. It's get parents talking to each other. And they learn a lot from people in other sports, people living in other cities. I think that'll be great. There'll be a lot more communication. Parents don't necessarily have that opportunity in a lot of cases now, or it's very narrow. All they talk, all they see is soccer people, right? And I think there's some value to learning about what other sports, what people are going through. You'll get a subscription. We're going to have a sports directory, sporting goods and services. And it'll just be a subscription like a magazine, except it'll be online. So if you're looking for a sports doctor, boom, there's a section on that. All of the common things that parents have to look for and deal with will be advertised in that online. And of course, it's not all inclusive, but it's a starting point for parents, a place to start looking. And then the Wish I Known book, obviously you'll get that for free. And then we have a lot of other activities coming up. And this first group is going to be sort of special. So the people that are in this pilot group, you'll probably get a lot more attention, a lot more good stuff thrown in from our sponsors. And especially this year, we're having things like the World Cup coming, and we're having things like the Final Four, as I mentioned. So you may, being in that first group, you may get some special things that are maybe a little bit uncommon for people that are later in the program or next year. So with that, you might go to the next slide. And the special we have for that, again, we're looking for 10 parents to start the pilot in February. So spread the word. And Joan, I think Joan is on here somewhere, but Joan, you can call her at that number and she will tell you, give you a little update. Yes, Joan. Hi, Joan. And she will give you a little update on where we are with that. And again, we're looking for 10 parents. Everybody that applies, may not be in the program. So it has to be a fit. It has to be a fit for both sides. So that might be a little bit competitive, but Joan is, she's super, very calm presence, very organized presence. So you call, she'll take care of you, get you to the right person and what you have to do next. Next slide. Okay, so this is what we're trying to do. And these are the characters on the left. These are some of the characters that I'm using throughout the program. You'll see them in a lot of different fashions and ways. But the sports parents, they're tired, they're beat up, they're worried. Unfortunately, a lot of sports parents are in that mode at the moment. But what we want is the other ones, as you see on the other side. And these are parents looking at Charles's program, right? And they came up with 20 colleges that their young athlete can apply to, and their colleges that they were thinking up to. So that's what we're trying to get to, from being worried, stressed out, time crunched, to comfortable, organized, not as frightened, not as worried parents. Next one. So I want to thank you for your attention. As I mentioned, if you have your email in the chat there, I'm going to send you a copy of this, and we'll also send you a list of some things that you, information that you need. For instance, like the link that we had up there, the QR link and things like that. We'll get that back to you. So make sure you have your, fantastic. So, okay, so I appreciate everybody being on, and stay in touch. We're looking forward to working with you in 2026. Thank you.